So let's look at blood vessel anatomy first. So we looked through, we looked at a blood vessel, and there are specific layers that make up all blood vessels. Okay, the Tunica Externa, the Tunica Media, and the Tunica Interna. So the Tunica Externa, remember, was like fibrous connective tissue. The Tunica Media, smooth muscle. Tunica Interna is made up of endothelium, and there's some elastic connective tissue there. So let's look at each type of vessel and see what they look like. So if we look at the Tunica Externa, okay, so let's look at, I can never get this to right. All right, arteries. Let's look at, well, let me erase this, redo it here. Okay, so let's look at an artery. Let's look at an arteriole. Let's look at a capillary. And then let's look at a venule and a vein. All right, so the Tunica Externa is, again, fibrous connective tissue. Color going on here. Okay, fibrous connective tissue. So do arteries have that? Yeah, they do. Arteries are big vessels, and they have a tunica externa around them, and it's, you know, fairly significant. So we'll say it's about that much. Tunica externa. Okay. And arterioles. Actually, arterioles don't have a lot of that. Okay, they don't really have much of that at all. And capillaries don't have it either. So we'll just say they don't have it. Venules have it a little bit. So we'll go ahead and put that, just a small amount of venules here. Veins have it about as much as arteries do. So veins have that as well. Okay. Tunica media. So tunica media, we're talking about the smooth muscle. Do arteries have smooth muscle? Yeah, they do. So we have this about this much tunica media and about that much smooth muscle, quite a bit. So arteries have a lot of smooth muscle. Okay. Arterioles, yeah, arterioles have a lot of smooth muscle too. Okay, there's kind of not a full layer, it's like little bands of it around it, but it's quite a bit of smooth muscle as well there. Okay, so this is arterioles and arteries. All right, what about capillaries? Capillaries have muscle, smooth muscle? Nah, capillaries don't have that. Do venules have smooth muscle? Not too much, not really. Do veins have smooth muscle? Yeah, they do, but not nearly as much as arteries have. So they have a pretty decent amount of tunica externa there, and then over there we get a really thinner layer of muscle. Okay, well, what about the tunica interna? So elastic cartilage, elastic connective tissue. Do arteries have that? Do arteries have elastic connective tissue? Do they? Yes, they do. And they have quite a bit. So they have, the layer in here, and then they'll also have it through their Tunica Media. Okay, so they have quite a bit. Then arterioles. Arterioles have a little bit. So they have a little bit there too. Okay, capillaries. Do capillaries have elastic connective tissue? Nah, they don't. Do venules have elastic connective tissue? Nah, not really. Do veins have elastic connective tissue? Yeah, they do. Not as much as like arteries, but they have it. Okay, so they have it here. And they might have a little in here too. Okay. All right, so that's elastic connective tissue, that little band around the lumen there in the tunica intima. What about endothelium? Do arteries have endothelium? Yes, they do. So that's the inner covering there of the lumen. So do arterioles have endothelium? Yes, they do. Do capillaries have endothelium? Yes, they do. That's all they have. Do venules have endothelium? Yes, they do. Endothelium. Do veins have it? Yes, they do. All vessels have endothelium. And endothelium is always just simple squamous epithelia. So they all have that. So a blood vessel, we just look at it here. And let's just sort of make it like an artery type of thing. All right. Just go ahead and put all our little layers there just to be fun. All right, so if this is a vessel, we have the lumen, which is the inside here. That's the hole, okay? And then we have some kind of, this wall of the vessel is, can be thick, can be thin, or whatever. So there's a dimension there. And then there's also how big the lumen is. Okay, so different vessels have different size walls and different size lumens. So arteries are going to have really thick walls. Really thick walls. They're pumping and moving, not pumping, but they're constricting, and they're moving blood around. So they're going to have thick walls and smaller lumen. All right, so the diameter of their lumen is not going to be all that large. Okay. In a vein, the walls are going to be thin. So thinner walls and a big lumen. All right, the veins are basically, where most of your blood ends up being. Okay, so the veins can hold a lot of blood because they have these big lumen that hold, a ton of blood. So again, arteries are going to look like thicker, more muscular vessels. And in the histology, you can see they hold their shape, they're round. And the veins are going to have thinner walls, big lumens, and they don't hold their shape very well. They collapse easily. And on the histology slide, you'll see that the artery holds its form really well, and then right next to it will be the vein, and it'll be kind of collapsed looking.